To the CHGO Bears Podcast on, I guess what we're calling a solar eclipse Monday, everybody.
I don't buy it.
Welcome in. Carm is a conspiracy theorist. He doesn't believe in the solar eclipse.
It's not going to be dark. We're not in totality. It's all a farce.
What an interesting way to start the week, hearing that. Now, if it was cloudy today, you might have a case, but here in Chicago, it's going to be sunny. It's going to be great. Spring has maybe arrived. Adam Hoge, Carman and Nicholas Moreano with you here. We got an exciting show for you today. We have a big-time guest we're about to bring in, but we are also 600 subscribers away from our goal of 54,000 subscribers by draft day. We're going to knock that out of the park. Help us do that right now. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. We also have a very big announcement coming up later in the show.
Big.
But our producer, Steven, says he will not let us do the announcement unless we get 50 more subscribers.
I demand it. It's a really big announcement. I promise it's going to be worth it.
Big.
It is a big announcement.
I'm only asking for 50 subscribers here.
It has to do with this Bears season, and we're really excited about it. So stand by for that. But before we do all that, we got to bring in our guy, Kyle Long, who was supposed to join us last week, rescheduled for today. I think it's going to be even bigger and better today. There he is, looking great. Kyle Long.
What's going on, boys? Good to see your faces. And, yeah, I don't know. I think that we're at 80% totality in the state of Virginia, and it's going to be overcast. So I think those two things in conjunction means we might get – it might be dark. It might be nap time for like 30 seconds, you know?
It's the most overrated thing in the history of humanity, the eclipse. I mean, we get so excited for a minute of darkness. I mean, seriously.
There's only so many natural phenomenons that happen, buddy. So it's like, you know, get with it, okay? This is a really cool deal. I mean, obviously, the world isn't ending, and we're not going to another planet tomorrow. But it's some stars are aligning, as it were.
Yeah, you guys don't remember the last time there was a solar eclipse?
I don't.
It was 2017. John Fox was rocking the glasses in his press conference interview that Kevin Fishman tweeted. We retweeted it this morning. And Tom Skilling, legendary weather guy, cried. He cried. You got to understand, for a weatherman, this is like winning the Super Bowl.
I'm not trying to do anything negative to Tom Skilling, for the record. That guy is the GOAT of weather, and he should be excited. But everybody else out there, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
But we have a bunch of phenomenons happening right now. I mean, the warmer weather is coming back to Chicago. Caleb Williams will be arriving in 16 days, I believe it is, to the state of Illinois. And boy, oh boy, is he going to be welcomed with open arms.
See, that's the media professional Kyle Long.
That
has
was
become
amazing.
just an automatic transition. You could argue that if Caleb Williams hits, that would be more rare than a
solar eclipse.
Totality in a solar eclipse.
100%, dude. I mean, like, you can get a whatever the sample size is of number one picks, quarterbacks, and you can just go down the list and be like, that guy was not that guy. That guy was not that guy. We have an opportunity for a guy to be that guy. So I'm not saying he's him yet, but I'm saying, go put the tape on.
Yeah, I know, Kyle, you've watched a lot of Caleb, and you're on board. You're on board with this Caleb thing. But how did you navigate what the rest of us were going through the last few months as sort of this Justin versus Caleb thing that was destined to always be Caleb was playing out?
We're no strangers to kind of being in love with properties that share a fence and not having your mind made up. And that's kind of what Chicago does. And we have the unique privilege of having two baseball teams and tons of other sports teams to choose from. But then, the one thing that is always going to be polarizing is the quarterback position. So we're no stranger to these types of conversations. We've never had this as one of our options, though. We've never had a Caleb as one of our options because we've had guys who are polarizing that are massively talented in different ways. I mean, I was with Trubisky this past week, and I remember some of the games thinking, my God, I've never played with a guy who can do every single thing pretty darn well. There was nothing that was a real weak spot for number 10. And then you looked at number 6 and you'd say, God blessed him with a rocket arm. The same way we talk about Josh Allen's arm, the things Justin Herbert, the things he's able to accomplish. But there was always another guy. There was always another woman in the conversation. And now with people being so wildly in love with Justin Fields and the upside and the ceiling or the lack thereof, he's got the Willy Wonka elevator, according to some people. And I can see it, at times. But to be realistic, it's all about your consistency and your body of work week to week. And that's what excites me about Caleb Williams. He was punching up a lot this year, in regard to being under fire, snap to whistle, most plays. And if there's anybody who's going to be ready to be in Chicago and be under fire, and it's going to be Caleb. He's dealt with it. And he's come out the other side stronger, and I'm excited about it. So I feel like as a media member now, it's an exciting thing. We have a real, enticing, juicy option there, and we're going to take him. And you ask the guy who's, slotted at number 9, Rome Odunze, and he's like, it would be awesome to get to play with Caleb Williams. So we're in a unique position here.
So if Caleb called you up and said, "Hey, Kyle, you were a first-round draft pick. You saw a million different QB stories when you were here, from Cutler all the way through to Mitch and everything in between. What advice could you give me about being the face of the Chicago Bears and coming in as a rookie? What would you tell them?
Be yourself. Be yourself. Wear your heart on your sleeve. This city will tell you in the mentions when they get a little bit emotional that you shouldn't do that, but they will have somebody that they can relate to. And this city is a unique one because it's filled with so many blue-collar people, and it's such a melting pot. It's in the middle of the United States. I mean, it's literally kind of the center point, right? I mean, people stopped going west after a while, and then they eventually ran into these giant lakes, and Chicago happened. It's the best city in the world, in my opinion, and as it pertains to culture and sports. So they're looking for somebody they can relate to. There's a really cultured guy, grew up on the East Coast, went to Oklahoma, ended up in California. He's a Hollywood superstar. He's seen it all. He's like almost a Paul Bunyan type tale, in my opinion. And you need to be a Paul Bunyan type guy in order to have success in the city of Chicago, particularly if you want to win championships. I think about Michael Jordan and the tall tales that we hear about him, and the documentaries and the lore, as it were. And it matches the illustrious nature of the city. It's a poppin' place. Things are happening. It's like the Roaring '20s never stopped in Chicago, and it could be like that if you bring a guy like Caleb Williams. And we saw it with Justin Fields at times. Just imagine if it happened every week.
No doubt about it, Kyle. You were kind of talking about it at number 9. You mentioned the name Rome Odunze. Is that your guy at number 9? Do the Bears, if the Bears are go defensive player there, that would not be your preference, or what are you kind of thinking about that?
I mean, I'm not mad at Dallas Turner or any number of guys. I mean, look, I remember when we got Roquan Smith. I remember we got Leonard Floyd, and different type players with different trajectories to their career. But you bring a player in who can cover a tight end from the logo to the sideline and can rush the passer inside, outside. I'm talking about Leonard Floyd. And then you bring in a guy like Roquan Smith where there's no angle where he's, going to be outclassed. And I really love him downhill. And then you can get there's all these freak shows on defense, the guy from UCLA. And like I said, Dallas Turner, any number of options you have there. But in my opinion, you got to score to win. You need to have the best quarterback and the best options on offense in order to beat the best, because they're out there. You're not just trying to keep teams to 12, 14 points a week, bud. I mean, these guys are going to be putting up 35 points in the playoffs, and you better be able to put up 40. And in my opinion, you go get the best guy available who your young quarterback can develop with, in addition to these veterans, and everybody will benefit.
Kyle, I want to ask you about a guy that played for your Oregon Ducks, because I've personally, and a lot of us have been frustrated with the center play in this town for a while now, and think it's something they got to improve. Now, drafting a center at number 9, obviously you talk about positional value and things like that. Some people tell you that's too high. But if there's a scenario in which the Bears trade back and can somehow land Jackson Powers Johnson, I would be all for it. I just love his size. Like, he's a bigger center. You got to know everything that there is to know about him with him being a Duck. So I'd just love to hear your opinion on him.
Yeah, before I start talking about where you would attain the guy, I'll just say that if you do attain the guy, you're getting yourself a stud. You're getting you somebody who can swab out that A-gap in the run game, who's a real communicator in the pass game, a leader in that offensive line room. Obviously, the strength training is a priority for him. He looks fabulous. He's never outclassed as it pertains to strength at the line of scrimmage, and I think his personality fits Chicago as well. While he's not a Hollywood guy, he's somebody that is good in front of the microphone. He's been on a big-time program with Oregon, and being the center, you have to be at the mic a lot, so he'll have those opportunities in Chicago. Now, 9's too high, obviously, or too low, however you put it. But I will say this, if you can find a way to get a JPJ on your team, you're going to be better for it. And in Kansas City, I was there when they brought in Creed Humphrey in the second round. Creed Humphrey has changed that offense in more ways than you guys could ever imagine. You talk about big, wide back alpha in the middle who's just silverback gorilla and ready to get after it every week. And I'll tell you who that makes better. It makes your guards better. And when your guards are confident, your tackles play better. And when your tackles play better, your quarterback's confident, particularly if he's young. So you see the domino theory here.
Well, hold on. So let's just do the whole line here. Who are you most confident in, Kyle, that the Bears do not need to worry about for, let's call it the next
Darnell Wright.
Okay. Is that it? Like, would you if
well, you said the most.
Okay.
You said the most. So I think they hit a home run with that pick, Carm. And I know that there was a lot of people that were like, hey, we could have got Jalen, and there's all these other options, sexier options, and I get it. Like rookie defensive player of the year. I voted. I pretty much like made a future on it. I was essentially like, this guy's gonna, because of the class of players he was with. But look, I love Tevin Jenkins, and when you're healthy, when Tevin Jenkins is healthy, there's not many guys who can do what he can do physically, and I think that having his attitude on the field is imperative. I think for Braxton, his development has been impressive. He's a really young guy, and when you meet him, it stands out to you how much football is ahead of him. Good football, and I really like him. And I got to go to Hallis, and I got to shake hands with a lot of these guys and get an idea of who I was seeing on film and what they look like in person. And, how big is his ass when I see him in the hallway versus on film, and how wide is the back of this guy. And damn, Jalen Johnson, that's a big man when you see him in person. You know what I'm saying? Tyreek Stevenson, bigger than I thought. Same thing with these O-linemen. You need big hogs in order to dominate, and I think we've got a couple of those guys, and you can add some more of those to the draft, and that's great.
So if Alt fell to 9, Kyle, are you interested in doing that, or would you?
If Alt fell to 9, well, look, Ryan Poles is unique because his right hand is Ian Cunningham. I call him Ian Yates because I've known him since I was 13, by the way. He played at UVA with my older brother, Chris, and Ian Yates Cunningham was his name. I believe he was number 76 for the Wahoos, and he was a big man, and he was a badass, but really bright guy. That's his right-hand man. Now, him and Poles are both hogs. They're both O-linemen. Don't be fooled by their svelte nature. So they love the hogs, and they think that's really important. And I think back to like the Eric Fisher pick, and people said it wasn't a home run pick, but he was a really good player for them for a while. So if you go get a guy who's considered to be an elite player, unless you're getting Tony Mandrich, which you're absolutely not in Alt, you're going to be okay at tackle. So it's one of those blue chip investments that you can't go wrong with. But if you do go get a receiver, we could be talking NVIDIA here, bud.
Hey, I got it. There win-wins all over the place here. It's going to be hard to go wrong. Yes, Nick, you're up. I guess we're doing something
real quickly,
here.
Kyle. I want to go back to your playing days. Toughest matchup that you ever had in your career?
Oof.
Toughest matchup. that I had in my career was at times continuing to bring a positive attitude and never say die mentality to the facility, even in situations when I knew that we weren't going to come back victorious. It was really hard at times. And this isn't just unique to my experience. There's 31 other teams who don't get to win the Super Bowl every year, and however many teams that don't get to make the playoffs, and that was me every year except for one. So that was hard, but my toughest matchup every day was Akeem Hicks and Corey Wooten. My first 1-2 years in the I did not block Corey Wooten in practice. I could not block Corey Wooten in practice. He was unstoppable. He was so long, so strong, so smart. He read his keys better than anybody. And when I see him, I see him still, and I'm kind of like, damn, like he knows that I know that he knows. But Geno Atkins, incredible player. Julius Peppers, incredible player. Gerald McCoy, so many guys that it goes on and on and on. Khalil Mack is from Krypton or wherever the hell Superman's from.
All right. Well, Kyle, hold tight here because I got a surprise for you, and I want to go down memory lane.
And I've got Kyle Long trivia coming up here too. So we got a lot of things. This is gonna be fun.
Carm going rogue.
And I got nothing going on, so we can just chill, bro. So
Okay.
Let's do it. I love it. In the meantime, I want to remind you we got a big announcement coming up here, probably about 15 minutes or so. But we got to get Steven. How close are we to getting that goal? You said
we need 31 more.
31 subscribers.
Up,
you can do it.
Let's do it. We also have a new sponsor to welcome to the show. You guys excited about this?
I like new sponsors.
I couldn't be more excited. Who is it?
Are you familiar with Lucy?
Oh, yeah, I am familiar
Not
with
a person. Lucy Nicotine. Made for your nicotine routine. Delivered straight to your door. 100% pure nicotine, always tobacco-free. And you can choose your form. They have pouches, breakers, or gum. You can choose your strength. 2 megs, suitable for someone who uses nicotine infrequently. 4 to 8 would be more likely to satisfy if you have an everyday nicotine routine. And 12 megs might be for you if you've been underwhelmed by the effects of other nicotine pouches. The flavors, you can go mint, apple ice, espresso, mango, and a lot more. Save yourself from the weekly gas station stop. Sign up for a monthly subscription. You can save 15%. There's no commitment. You can cancel any time. And here's some customer reviews on Lucy. Best nicotine pouches I've found. Feel and taste great. Couldn't be happier with my monthly subscription. The berry citrus is juicy as heck. So much flavor being tossed around. It's like an orgasm in my mouth.
Okay, you said that.
That was an actual...
Congratulations.
Yep.
Actual review. Yeah.
Kyle Long's
This is why you should vet these before you start reading random things. Thank you, Lucy. You so juicy. Let's level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/CHGO Bears and use promo code, again, that's CHGO Bears, to get 20% off your first order. Lucy offers free shipping and has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. That's lucy.co and use code CHGO Bears to get 20% off and always free shipping. And here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning! This product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Nothing like a midday situation. All right, hey, we're talking a lot about what the Bears are going to do at 9. You pour yourself a nice draft somewhere as well. Yeah, the one selection every football fan loves. It's ice cold Miller Lite. The draft has changed over the years, but Miller Lite is the perfect beer for the draft. Would have been perfect when Kyle Long was getting drafted 20th overall. Best pick ever in the history of the Bears in the last decade. Let's go with that. And yes, by the way, Miller Lite is a proud sponsor of the Bears as well. Bear down. And yes, to kickoff is going to come around again soon enough, but Miller Lite is going to taste great until then and when kickoff comes around. 96 calories. To get your Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/CHGO football. Or, of course, you can pick up Miller Lite anywhere they're selling beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories, 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. All right, Hoge, I'll let you lead back in here.
Steven, if we can either
good job, guys.
Thank you. It was a little long, but we did fine.
Steven, want to do the video here or go through the tweets?
Up to you. I got both ready.
All right, let's do so Kyle, are you aware of who Nick Foligno is?
I feel like I know this name.
So yeah, well, he plays for the Blackhawks.
Yeah, it's my twin.
Yes. That's
This is
so
my twin.
so he is also part of our CHGO.
I was like, yes, that's why I know the name, because I'm
Yes.
added in every single thing that they put out about Nick Foligno, because people are like, Kyle, good luck. They're like, hey, tape your ankles good or whatever. Like,
So he is part of our CHGO family here, and I believe he was asked about you on our Blackhawk show. So here's the video.
All right, one more football one.
Sure, he's a
Another
great
former
guy.
Bear
Dude,
here. We
he's
got
my
former
doppelganger.
offensive lineman Kyle Long.
I've heard that one, actually.
You have?
Handsome guy, too. I want to meet him.
I think he still hangs around.
Yeah, he's around.
Chicago.
Yeah, I would love to meet that guy. He's awesome.
We got to set this up.
I cannot wait to meet you, Nick. And this is sick. I mean, like, when you said the name at first, I was thinking it was maybe a media member that we work with. And then I was like, oh, yes, I know who this guy is, because when he came to Chicago, it was made very public to me that we look similar, like we could be cousins. And I guess he's a beast because they always got him in the media. And that's awesome, man. Tip of the cap. That's what makes Chicago sports awesome.
Well, Nick's a lot like you in that, like, when you were playing, I was like, I know Kyle's going to be able to do media whenever he wants to when he retires, and you've been doing a great job. Nick's the same way. I mean, so maybe
Hoge.
it's something about the look. I don't know, but you guys
It was all
have
those
it.
tough questions you guys used to ask me, and really, and those quarterbacks that used to be like, "Hey, Kyle, you go to the podium," and I'd be like, "All right, I'll wear it." I think I'm investing in myself.
It worked out in the long run.
There is some truth to that. So I want to go down memory lane. Speaking of all this, let's go down memory lane a little bit, because I decided to bring up some old tweets. All these are good. They're fun. But that one of my favorite reasons why I love covering you was because we could have fun with you, and you were aware of things going around on Twitter too. So there was this one here. I don't hope you can see it well enough.
Yep,
but
I can see. I remember this.
While Tariq Cohen chats with the media, Kyle Long jumps in Tariq's car. What do we call those again? What are those?
A slingshot.
It was like
Slingshot.
like a raptor, not a raptor, like it was like a dinosaur name or something. I don't know.
Do you remember that?
Triceratops.
Triceratops.
Yep,
car.
I love it.
I just remember one year, like, Pat O'Donnell showed up in a McLaren, and I was like, what are we doing here, guys?
Yeah.
We have gone past rock stars at this point.
Well, I remember Tariq Cohen getting in trouble for driving that thing around Bourbonnais.
Tariq, I've gotten Tariq in trouble.
How
Before.
How so?
For, sometimes I got to take his iPhone away.
All right. Let's see. This next one is actually your tweet. How did you end up upside down in this photo?
Okay, so this seems to be 2015 Dallas Cowboys, Chicago Bears, Monday Night Football. I think this was the Josh McCown, Alshon Jeffrey game.
Oh, the Jordan game, right?
Yeah.
You'd have to look at the overlap of when Jay Feely, my current colleague at CBS, was on our team, but I think it was 2015. And fast fact about Jay Feely, I could not stand him when I first met him because he, throughout the week, would wear full shoulder pads every day at practice. And I'd be like, you dork, nobody's hitting you ever. And he would always say, practice like you play. And he was like, honestly, like a 40-year-old guy with kids, and he was like a man. He was like an adult. And now that I look back on it, I'm like, I wish I would have practiced like I played all the time and been more like Jay Feely in that regard. And he's a great guy, and we're super tight now. But, yeah, that picture's hilarious. He's looking at me like, how the hell – like you guys asked, how the hell did you get like that? I used to have to take on like three guys at the tight end position. So on field goal protection, there's the center, there's the guard, there's the tackle, there's the tight end, just like on an offensive formation. And then there's the wing, who is – reduced off the ball and flexed a little bit. I was the tight end, which means I have to cover two guys on the inside, and I have a guy who's trying to get outside my outside shoulder. He's trying to pry me open. So I would just oftentimes wear it and just ride the roller coaster. And I was just built like a brick shit house when I was 24 and could just ride the lightning and land like a rodeo cowboy. And I would get up and yell at these guys with excitement, be like, "We made it, you idiots." And Feely saw me right in front of him, inverted like Top Gun style. It looks pretty sick. It was a cool picture. I found it in my photo album when I was looking through there the other day, and I tweeted it out. So I'm glad we're getting back to it.
That's awesome. All right. This next one is also one of my old tweets, and I don't remember the context of this. That's why I wanted to bring it up. So I tweeted this was mid-game. Oh, man, Bears just had Trubisky and Chase Daniel in the game at the same time, and Kyle Long false started.
Oh, man. Okay, Bears just had Trubisky and Chase Daniel. So this must have been a trick play. I'm guessing Chase Daniel was in gun and Trubisky was flexed wide. And, of course, I fucked it up. And, of course, we probably spent 30 reps in practice trying to get a line the right way and work on the timing, and I ruined the entire operation. This is why I'll never be a Navy SEAL, because I'll trip getting out of the Black Hawk helicopter and everybody else will fall behind me and I'll ruin the play.
At least you're owning it to this moment. Like, look at this. Even you could easily have pointed the finger right now and said that Chase did something. Nobody would double check it, but listen, stand-up guy Kyle Long right there. If you hadn't played professional football, what do you think you would have done? Because you were drafted by the White Sox, which, by the way, I think you could play for the White Sox right now. You're a mentally entertaining guy. You're a hard-working dude. Had a million ways you could have gone. What do you think it would have been?
There's two ways it would have gone. I was on TikTok last night watching interviews with street people that are really smart and are actually have a lot to offer that just ended up down the wrong path. And I think, unfortunately, and Hoge will tell you that I'm kind of kidding and kind of serious. I was in a bad way for a bit. And if it weren't for the game of football, I wouldn't have that structure of my life that would allow me to be the man that I am today. And God, I think about what would happen without football sometimes, but I try not to do it very often because I'm so blessed. And when I wake up in the morning and I look at my wife and I roll over and I'm like, I'm going to go wake our daughter. Are you going to get the baby? I'm going to get our 2-year-old. You get the baby. I'm like, this is a dream. Like I'm living a dream. You know what I mean? So probably baseball if it wasn't football, but if it wasn't baseball, God, I don't know, man. I don't know.
We didn't want to go too serious in the interview, but I was just looking back at your journey there, and you talk about turning yourself around, and you're thanking football, dude. But that also you could thank yourself. You did it. It wasn't just the sport. By the way, they don't hand over first round draft picks in the NFL. You obviously worked incredibly hard to get there. So congrats.
I thought my dad paid the Bears to get me to be drafted in the first round.
Right. Which, by the way, takes you were a Pro Bowler as a rookie. Do you know who was the last Pro Bowler as a rookie before you that wore a Bears uniform?
Was it Brian Urlacher?
It was not. I didn't realize this guy is a rookie. I didn't realize he made the Pro Bowl. You want to guess at it?
Oh, no, it's not. Rookie.
Give me the year. Give me the
2009. I don't think Adam Hoge is going to get it.
Like Johnny Knox. Like what?
There it is. You nailed it.
Oh, wow.
Johnny Knox
was such a good player, and I often, like so many Bears fans, find myself watching Cutler highlights, and I see this guy in 13. It was right. Was it 13 or 18? What was it? 13. What number did Knox wear?
Oh, 13.
13. Yeah.
So I see this guy wearing number 13 streaking down the field with soft hands, and Jay throws him the ball without pause, and he catches it. And unfortunately, like myself, Johnny Knox dealt with a really, really set of unfortunate circumstances within a blessed life, and we didn't get to see the full iceberg there. We only saw the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, I got one more question, then I'll give the interview back over to you guys, because you just you talked to. I just look back at your journey. Do you regret ever you played with a torn labrum, you played with a zillion things, pushing yourself on the field, which, by the way, is the mark of a great teammate, a great football player. You're never going to feel right. But do you look back on that and regret, I wish I would have taken care of my body a little bit better in your prime years before you got really hurt?
I wish I would have. I wish I wouldn't have thought I was invincible for so long, because I was at those years. I was in like I had zero fears. I had zero fears, and it was because I was mentally strong, and it was because there wasn't anybody who was physically stronger than me. And if they were, I was going to try to abuse them with violent intent. And that's what made me confident. And I wish I had prepared more with an understanding that that part of my game wouldn't last forever, and I would need to have a renaissance, a reinvention, in order to have a sustained career. So I look at guys like Zach Martin, who have just played like a vet since day one and been dominant, and they haven't had to be overly physical or, finishing guys. They just get guys blocked. You know what I mean? They just get guys blocked, and they can play a very long time that way.
Kyle, before we get to some of those last Twitter memories, we do have a question from a fan of our CHGO Bears show, from Brian. He asked the question, when did the Bears-Packers rivalry first sink in with you, and what is your take on the rivalry as it stands today?
Okay, this is something that people don't know, but my godfather is Sean Jones. And Sean Jones, Nick, was a defensive lineman who played with my dad with the Raiders. And he also played and won a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. I was at the NFC Championship when the Carolina Panthers visited Lambeau Field and lost to the Packers. And I sat on Sean Jones' lap in the locker room on his knee during an interview. And I was a massive Packers fan growing up. And to this day at my parents' house, about 10 minutes down the road, I have like a little mini shrine and to Brett Favre. And I'm going to say this. It's not a mini shrine. It's like a wooden case with a card in it, and it's signed. And I got it when I was, whenever Brett Favre was number 4 and he was slinging that thing in Green Bay, I just loved watching him. And I was a Packer fan. But when I got to Chicago, the number one thing was like, it doesn't matter what happens, just go beat that team up north. And we didn't get it done. And we beat them a couple times or, once or whatever it was, but they had our number. And when Aaron Rodgers says, we own you, I mean, it's not a fiscal thing, it's a mental thing. You know what I mean? So it takes a Kingslayer to break the wheel, as it were. And I hate to use two Game of Thrones references there, but that's what this National Football League, it's a Game of Thrones. Or right now, the guy with the dragons in our division is gone, and there's a new guy trying to take the throne in Green Bay, and the Vikings is up for grabs, as we know. The Lions are a formidable force, and everywhere else around the league, there's suitors lining up for that throne. And right now, Mahomes has the dragons.
That's why I love talking to Kyle.
I love that analogy.
I never knew that. I never knew that about your Packer history. I don't know how.
Yeah, and
you held that down pretty good when you were a Bear. That's a good job.
But for Bears fans who are saying, Kyle, shut up. You guys know me. I'm a Bear. I hate the Packers. I've talked disgustingly about the Wisconsin population. And moving forward, we have a guy named Caleb Williams who's coming to town, and I think he's going to change the tune. You know what I mean? Let's call him the Witcher. You know what I mean? He's just going to come in. He might have a guy playing an instrument with him. Just go with it, okay?
And by the way, I don't know if Caleb Williams is actually a Packer fan or he just has some tweets in his past where he's like rooting for the Packers, whatever, but maybe that bodes well. Because, I mean, Kyle Long had a pretty damn good Bears career, and so maybe they need to draft more Packer fans, turn them into Bears, and that's how you...
He didn't know he was going to get drafted by the Bears. He had an unbelievable upbringing with his dad as a Hall of Famer.
I actually went to the Walter Payton Center when he gave the Howie Long Tough Guy Award when I was like 12. I forget which defensive tackle got it. What would have been the defensive tackle that got it in like 2001, 2002, 2003 that was like dominant?
Tommy Harris, but
it probably was. And I think my dad like gave Tommy Harris a truck, and that was my first experience being at in the indoor there. And I remember thinking I was in Noah's Ark, flipped out, like inverted, and that was the coolest experience ever. And then to get to practice in there and get in fights in there and look at Walter on the wall every day, it's really cool.
Were they friends at all, your dad and Walter?
I mean, obviously they had crossed paths, and my dad holds Walter in such a high regard. But I don't think he was somebody that was super tight with my dad. Yeah. I don't think my dad liked people on offense.
Makes sense.
It would make sense.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying it might have been Ted Washington too.
That's possible.
I'm thinking 2001. We'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Let's go through a couple more of these tweets here. This was a fun one. I don't know if you remember this. I don't know why you would, but there was one day you just randomly came into the media room in like May and just sat down at Zach Zaidman's chair and started tweeting.
Yeah, I remember this because Zach Zaidman was always the really respectful reporter who would stand and give you enough space, and when your time seemed to be available, he would then ask you, "Would you mind if I, got a comment from you? I'm Zach Zaidman." And every time I'm like, "ZZ Top, I know exactly who you are." Well, eventually we became buddies, and he would sit in my locker and wait for me. So I would go to the media room and steal sodas from the fridge. That was the only place in the facility you get a Diet Coke. So I'd go get a Diet Coke in there, and I would just fuck with Zach Zaidman, excuse my language. And to this day, we still talk. He's still covering stuff in Chicago, and I know that you guys all miss seeing him around every day.
See, that's how I knew the Justin Fields era was 100% over. Like, we were all like 99%. They're going to trade him. We kind of all knew it was happening. And then Zach came in from the top rope on Twitter. Did you see that tweet?
Yes.
Zach never does that. Never does that. And he was just like straight up.
It was out of nowhere.
I'm like, oh, now it's definitely over. If Zach just did that, it's over. It's over. 100%.
Really good guy, but easy to mess with, and not like, people would look at it from the outside and be like, I think Kyle's bullying Zaidman. And really, me and Zaidman had the coolest relationship. It was like the two barnyard animals that are completely different sizes and look completely different, but they play together and they hang out and they eat together.
All right, we'll do one more here because this is one of my favorite Kyle Long stories because it's one of the reasons I think we always had a good relationship is because you would hold me accountable if I needed it. And there was this Monday night game in San Diego, believe it or not, before the Chargers moved. And I don't know if I was just cranky getting in the stadium or whatever happened, but I tweeted before the game, "Greetings from Qualcomm Stadium, where tonight 2 bad football teams will fight to prove they aren't that bad." The Bears went out. Zach Miller had that great catch, won the game. Jay Cutler was the quarterback, and we
blocked our asses off.
There it is.
No, you guys had a great game, and I get in that locker room post game, and I think you said something, and very demonstratively, and I deserved it. You were like, "Did you figure out which team was worse?" Or however you put it. It was so great. And I was like, yep, I deserve that 100%.
Did you deduce the information you came to look for, And that was such a great trip. And it was like Zach Miller's swan song there, that one-hander across the middle. And I was going against Melvin Ingram, and styles make fights, and he wasn't a real speed rusher, and I was built to take on power rushers. So it was a great matchup all day. I could just run him by, like push him by. And Jay was just on fire. There was something about the salt in the air, I guess.
That was a good one. It was a good game and an otherwise not great season. Yes, Carm.
I have like 8,000 more questions, and I know that we're wrapping up here. But can you just explain to me the nice guy, Kyle, fun demeanor that you were basically the face of the franchise when you were here, which is rare for somebody who's playing the offensive line versus the quarterback, but that's what you were, versus the dude that would go out there and, as you put it, like felt invincible, and I'm going to physically impose myself on you. Like, those are two different dudes in my mind, but they're the same guy, which is you. Like, how do you explain that part of being you, I guess?
When I was growing up, I wasn't a really cool guy, and I had to find ways to become more desirable. And I found it easy to put my hand out and shake somebody's hand, talk to them, get to meet them. And then it became clear to me that a lot of the reason that people were apprehensive about talking to me because I was so big and demonstrative looking. And you could translate what I was saying or acting like as, God, that's scary. And I remember as a kid, they were like, they would call my parents and be like, "Kyle's not allowed to play on the playground with the other kids." And my parents would be like, "Is he hitting kids? And they're like, "No, he's just really big. It's dangerous." And my whole life, I had to be very careful. And I never played football, and I was a baseball player and a basketball player, and I was a sweetheart, and I got my ass kicked by kids that were much smaller than me, and I got bullied. And when I started playing football, it was like in Frozen when Elsa's like, I like the ice that comes out of my fingers. And it doesn't make me a bad person. And I remember my dad used to tell me, football, it ain't for everybody. That's what he would say, football. When I would ask him about playing, he's like, your brother's different than you. And I think the whole time he knew what he was doing to kind of piss me off a little bit and challenge me. And then he was there to catch me when I finally fell for football. And he was there to help me along the way. And the one thing he always said is, if you have an opportunity to show your athleticism, do it. And that's where that part of my game came in, chasing down linebackers across the field, cutting off safeties with angles I wasn't supposed to have, but then imposing your will. I mean, really, it ain't for everybody became a motto for me, and I used it against them. And I was like, do you want to be in here with me for 4 quarters? Do you love football this much? Do you love practicing this much on a Thursday in December? Because I know this is a practice, but to me, this is what I wake up for. I'm so rocked up for this stuff when I wake up in the morning.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you.
But that was just a great glimpse into, Kyle, you were bringing up, or you mentioned earlier, some of your past, some of the growing up. You are now on here talking Frozen references. I mean, I love this. And I'm texting you last week, and you were supposed to come on last week. You rescheduled because you got a stomach bug because you had that going around with your kids. And the second you texted me, I was like, been there, totally understand it. It's like the worst thing ever, stomach bug in the house. Everyone's going to get it. Mm-hmm. And look at you. You're a dad now. You got 2 awesome kids, and I love seeing it, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm blessed. We all are. You guys are in the best-looking studio, and you got the most handsome co-hosts. I mean, look at us, Who would have thought?
I torched you last week. I'm like, this is the toughest guy in the history of the planet. He can't get through a flu to be on the show. What kind of guy is this? What's happened to Kyle? And then
it's funny because I had a show with my older brother that I had to cancel, and he's my boss. And I usually use him as a barometer for what's acceptable in other appearances. And he was like, get some rest. So Carm, respectfully.
There you go.
That's the right take.
And that is the Green Light podcast.
Please check it out. Chris works very hard. I get to help him every once in a while. We have a blast. It's on all platforms. We talk football, NFL. I'd love to get more Chicago stuff, and we will, because it'll be a priority with Caleb and this offense and this defense, and obviously the city of Chicago. When you cover Chicago, people listen, and it's good for our brand. So we're going to be doing more Chicago stuff. Stay tuned.
Well, for real, thanks for coming on, and you're a unicorn, and you've been great to us for a long, long, long time. It was so awesome to have you today, so thanks, brother.
Thank you, guys. We'll talk soon.
There he is, Kyle Long. Awesome as always, and obviously everybody in the comments you could tell enjoyed the interview. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed the interview. We appreciate it very much, and I think we need a couple more subscribers. 7 more subscribers, and that the announcement is coming here. We got a big announcement, not only for the show but for the company for you coming up. Has to do with this Bears season. We need 7 more subscribers. You got a couple minutes to do that because Nick is going to tell you about one of our sponsors right now.
Yeah, I got to tell everybody about Circa. Games will strive to be at a -110 split, and on the Circa Sports menu, unlike other sports books, which may use 115 or -120 splits, Circa Sports keeps as little money as possible on large market bets, and especially compared to those other books. Also, Circa Sports does not limit players based on their winnings. Every player has the same limits, unlike other books who do limit winning players. And they also encourage bettors to, go download and explore all those sports betting apps available and just compare the lines from each sports book to Circa. You'll see for yourself. And of course, Circa has this great customer service. There are real people behind the Circa Sports brand who resolve issues in a timely fashion. Unlike other books who use those chat bots, all aspects of the app are being run by the same team that runs the main Circa Sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. So what you got to do is download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also, be on the lookout for Circa events with watch parties and tailgates. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537, or text GAMB to 833-234, or visit areyoureallywinning.com.
And speaking of Circa and speaking of hanging out, why don't you come on out to our draft party, which I believe I was paying attention properly in our pre-show meeting. The Thursday draft party is actually sold out. Is that correct, Tom?
That is accurate. Thursday, I was warning you last week. It was selling out. It was about to happen, and it did over the weekend. However, if you missed out on Thursday, Friday night's party is going to be just as good. Plenty of tickets still available for that, although we anticipate them starting to sell here even more since Thursday night is sold out.
And, by the way, Friday's going to be more fun, so just come out on Friday because that's your best option right now. Gary Fentic's going to be there. We're all going to be there. It's a Friday night, which means it's going to be a little wilder to end out the week. Come on out to the draft party. Thanks to our friends at the Collector's Cave helping us with Gary. And also, check them out. Visit MakingSigningFunAgain.com. They've got some amazing stuff on there for any of you collectors out there. The Collector's Cave is where you need to be. Thank you to our friends at Circa. Thank you to our friends at Casa Azul as well. Coming out to our draft party, which, of course, is coming quicker and quicker. Thursday sold out the 25th, but come on out on the 26th, 6 to 10 p.m. Joe's on Weed Street. Going to be a great time.
It's MakeSigningsFunAgain.com.
What did I say?
Making signing fun.
Close
Just making
enough.
sure everyone's got that for our audio listeners.
Not close enough because that's not how the internet works. If you don't put it in exactly, it doesn't work.
Put it on the screen one more time, please, because I want to say it correctly. Make signings fun again. Make signingsfunagain.com. Our friends at Collector's Cave, who are awesome and I love. And by the way, I need a couple things, so I'll be reaching out. Thank you.
Pizzatola has his own big announcement right now that he's sharing with us. It says, big announcement, CHGO hires Kyle Long and fires Carm to make room for Kyle.
Everybody would agree with that. I would agree with that. Kyle wants to take my spot on the show. It would hurt me, but I would, I'd understand.
It would be fun.
No.
Dude's great at his gig. Hey, listen.
Kyle's great. You are too. You're not going anywhere. In fact, you're coming with us somewhere else. And I'm not sure if Kyle, we never got to the conversation that we maybe could have had with Kyle about a certain trip that didn't go as well for him or the Bears. But it's going to go much better this time.
There it is.
Okay. And here's what we're doing. This is the big announcement. Did we get there, Steven? Can I do the announcement?
Oh, we just did it.
Okay,
We just got it.
Just want to make sure. Thank you for everybody who hit that subscribe button and got us there. So Steven is now allowing us to do the announcement. We did it. We're going to London, baby.
Let's go.
CHGO road trip. Music. Does the music keep going or does it end? I don't care.
I'll fade it out. I'll fade it out. Go ahead.
I didn't know. I was going to let it keep rolling. Our friends at True Fan Travel, who we've been telling you about, we are hooking up with them for an ultimate CHGO road trip, okay? And this is, it's going to be sweet, okay? So here's what you're going to do. Go to truefantravel.com. What they're doing right now is taking deposits. So you can go, if you want to come with us, jump on the website. You can put in a deposit. It's a completely refundable deposit. Okay, we understand we don't even have the game day finalized right now. So that's what's cool about this. I know people want to book their flights and they don't know when the game's going to be and everybody's stressing out about it. Well, it's all included right here. You sign up, you put your deposit in now, and whatever the dates end up being, here's what's included. Round trip flights.
Bang.
Woo. Hotel stay.
Sweet.
In a top-rated London hotel.
Not with brags.
Game ticket to the game, and including transportation from the airport to the hotel. We're going to have a welcome event and an all-inclusive tailgate. My understanding, too, is that I think there's going to be some different options. We understand we got a lot of people who already live in Europe that watch this show, so maybe you're taking a train there, you're getting there somewhere. So I believe there's going to be some more options available once we get closer and everything is finalized. So right now, all we're saying is this is a deposit situation. You can secure your spot, and it's completely refundable too. So True Fan Travel, they do it up right. I got to meet these guys when we were in Las Vegas for the Super Bowl, and they're excited. We're excited. We hope you guys are all excited. If you're planning on coming to London, this is the way to do it. It's the best way to do it, and you're going to be with us. A lot more details still to come. Again, this is just the beginning. It's your way to secure your trip. Go to truefantravel.com. If you scroll down just a little bit, you will see that beautiful logo we just had on the screen, the CHGO road trip going to London.
Matt Gregory, Braggs' landlord, is asking a good question, which you might not know the answer to. Are those round trips just from Chicago? Do you have any idea? We might have to figure that one out for you, Matt Gregory. It's a good question, though.
We'll get more details.
I believe that the flight situation coming from the U.S. is probably Chicago. But, again, we're working all that out because I know we're talking about having options for people that already live in Europe. So,
okay.
It's going to end up costing more than what the deposit is right now. So regardless, your deposit secures your situation, and you know, if you end up having to do a different package because it doesn't include a flight from where you live, then you know it obviously won't cost as much, and you'll be able to do the other option that doesn't include the flight, and you'll still get there and hang out with us, and it'll still include everything else. But it's gonna be a lot of fun, and we're blowing this thing out. If there's one thing you know about ALLCITY and what we do here at CHGO, we do big events the right way.
You do it big.
And we go all out on them. We're going to continue to do that, and this is no different. Tottenham Stadium is outstanding, having been there before, and I can't wait to see it again. We're going to have a good time.
Are we going to the game, too? We get to go to the game?
Yes. As, once again, if you had been listening, it includes a ticket to the game.
Well, I figured for them, I don't know what we're doing. Like, we got to, do a post-game show, I'm assuming.
We're going to the game.
We're going to the game.
We are going to the game.
Wow.
It'll be a fun time.
Even I'm going to the game.
The trip is almost exactly 6 months away. We have some time to figure out the details.
I'm excited,
we don't have to do it right now.
Awesome.
Hey, listen, I like to get in the weeds.
I know.
I got to know what I'm doing here.
Never been to London.
I have never been to London either. This is super exciting. I hope you all come.
You like to get in the weeds, on the weeds, all kinds of weeds.
London weeds.
Hey, I support everybody enjoying their life fully. Let's go
speaking of guys who are enjoying their life fully, so we bring in this dude?
No, we shouldn't.
There's nobody enjoying his life better. Look at him. Greg Braggs Jr. gracing us with his presence. Phoenix. Is that a fountain feature? I know exactly where you are. You're in Glendale, Westgate. That is a Westgate fountain behind you.
That's right. I am. Can you guys hear me good? How's my sound?
You sound great, Greg.
Better than ever.
Live show. We wouldn't put you on if you didn't sound great, buddy.
Well, just making sure, So, yeah, I'm at Westgate. I think the number one thing, like when I'm sitting out here in this entertainment district is, man, I really hope the Bears can get something like this one of these days. Because you walk out here and it's like Arizona Cardinals Landia out here, and they got 20 restaurants, 30 restaurants, a bunch of hotels, all this stuff for fans to do. A fountain that I might be swimming in here after the game today. So we'll see. But, that is definitely one of the first things that comes to mind as far as the Bears go.
Greg, how are you feeling right now, man? Like, my Iowa Hawkeyes went down national championship. How are you feeling about Purdue and their chances today?
I actually feel very confident. I mean, this is the first time I've been covering this team now for 4 or 5 years for Purdue, and I don't know if they have been the underdog at any point. This is the first game that they can truly say they're the underdog walking in, and I do think they play better as the underdog. So UConn's the defending national champions. Purdue's, been waiting for this moment since last year with Fairleigh Dickinson, and I'm excited for tip-off. I'm not that nervous. I honestly feel like Purdue has a big chip on their shoulder to make history here tonight. So I'm actually really excited, which is a reverse from how I've felt this entire tournament, being sick to my stomach.
I'm on Purdue too there, Gregory. I'm going to use my friends at Circa, maybe even stop by there and do it in person today, to put a little 6.5 points. I like the Boilers, man.
That's what the Iowa spread was yesterday, too.
It was, yeah. I lost by 12.
Yeah, but I think people are sleeping on Purdue. Zach Edey is a better player than the Klingon character.
Klingon character.
And, I just... No, man, that Edey's going to be able to do it against Klingon. Clingan he's been a starter for 5 seconds.
Greg, I'm going to ask you to be professional here for a second. Break this thing down. How does Purdue win? I want your basketball analysis here.
Well, I mean, obviously, I think it starts with the officiating. We all understand when you're playing Purdue how the whistle is called, particularly for Zach Edey on both ends, whether you're guarding Zach or Zach's guarding you, how that whistle is blown for that big man matchup is going to be key. Now, you saw on Saturday where they didn't blow the whistle for NC State and Purdue, DJ Burns versus Edey. There was an 8.5-minute stretch where the whistle wasn't blown. That hasn't happened all year in a Purdue game, all year. That hasn't happened in 4 years with Zach Edey. So that was pretty bizarre, and probably, I don't anticipate that being the case today because, let's face it, if you watch Purdue games, there is a lot of physicality happening. So if the refs are going to decide to let them play, quote unquote, that could change the dynamic. But if Zach Edey's getting Clingan in foul trouble, that's where Purdue can start to open the door. And then at the end of the day, as I've said all year, Purdue last year was ranked 276 in the country in three-point percentage. And this year they're number 1 in the country in three-point percentage. So when you're double teaming and triple teaming Zach Edey and he kicks it to the corner or he kicks it to the top of the key to Lance Jones, Fletcher Lawyer, Braden Smith, if they're knocking down their threes like they have been all season, that's the recipe for how they're going to win. And then ultimately, as long as Purdue doesn't beat themselves and turn the ball over, 13 plus times is typically the number. They did turn it over 16 times on Saturday. We're still able to win convincingly, but they can't do that here today. They cannot turn the ball over, and if they stay under 10, they should be in really good shape. But I see this being a back-and-forth affair. If Purdue can get to the 10-minute mark of the second half and, have this still a game, I think you'll see the will of this team come through, and Zach Edey, similar to what you saw in the Tennessee game, just will these guys to a win.
All right, who are the Bears taking at 9? Enough.
No. Let's just let the record show. I think there's a tweet out there from Greg Braggs whining to me about the officials, but now here he is, and the first thing he brings up is how is Zach Edey going to be officiated tonight in the national championship? Seems like that actually is something that matters and does affect the outcome in the game for Purdue. I'm just saying, I don't know if it is or not, but that's what I'm hearing from our expert basketball analysis.
And I'm pretty certain that Edey hasn't fouled out of any game ever. Isn't that true? Never fouled out? Edey plays. Yeah, that's true.
I honestly don't know. He hasn't. Okay.
No, he's never fouled out. Don't worry about it. I got you. I know more about Purdue than you do. I don't even cover the team.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Edey.
Yeah, it obviously is a huge factor. It's a huge factor. There's no question about it. But they could call a foul every time down the court on Zach. And you guys all know that.
There's a freshman.
They could. All right. And I also saw, I think Matt Painter said that he hasn't gotten a technical foul in 19 years or something, which if I have that right, that's incredible. But wow. Yeah, also why would he need to? They never call anything bad against Purdue, so I guess he has really nothing to complain about. That makes sense. Actually, in all seriousness, that's incredible. Matt Painter is an unbelievable coach, and I don't care what type of coach. If you can not get mad at the officials, especially college basketball officials, for that long, that's insane. All right, before we let you go, Greg, we just want to wrap up and show everyone where you've been all weekend long. It was quite a weekend for Greg, which actually started at the Cubs game on Friday. It was part of the 120 Club. But here he goes from Wrigley to the court in Glendale. Look at that man right there next to Purdue warming up. I think that's Zach Edey in the background. But this is where he also ended up. I don't know how he did this all weekend. Look at him. He's at WrestleMania.
Wow, that's impressive.
I don't know how he did that. Luis Robert got hurt the other day in the White Sox game. Who was standing right there?
Look at that, front and center.
Greg Braggs Jr.
Unbelievable.
I don't know how he did this.
J. Cole with apologizing to Kendrick Lamar. And
thank you, because I had no idea what was happening in that photo, but Greg Braggs was there for that. I went to the Brewer game on Saturday. I was watching the hot dog race.
Unbelievable.
He's right there in the middle of the race. I couldn't believe it.
He lost because he's a bad athlete.
Yep.
But he was there.
Yeah.
And then there he is in the background.
I'm certainly a hot dog. There's no question.
Absolutely. Is that all we got? Nope. Oh, we had the controversial call in the women's game the other day, UConn and Iowa, and right there, Greg's in the background.
Come on, I'm set there. That's not a moving screen.
That's how you should have been.
Yeah. And just in case anybody's wondering, in about an hour from now, the solar eclipse is happening, and Greg's getting ready for that too. He's ready to go to block the sun. What a week for you, buddy.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys letting me check in. Obviously, I'm very excited. It's going to be a lot of fun here today. Just covering this team for the last 4 or 5 years to get to this point is very cool and very surreal. So I'm taking it all in. Have thousands and thousands of Boilers fans, here hanging out. So shout out to our guy Scott. He owns the DNVR bar, and he owns this bar that we're currently at, hanging out with all these Boiler fans. So a little bit of all-city symmetry going on here in Glendale.
Braggs, if we got a lot of Chicago fans down there in Arizona, if they wanted to come find you in the next 7 hours, is that still possible?
Yep, I'm in Westgate, the entertainment district. We're at Carousel here for the Purdue bar. Come on through, and I'll be there having fun.
All right, in all seriousness, good luck to Purdue tonight.
Good luck.
I don't have any Purdue gear, but I did wear our DNVR sweatshirt that kind of has the same colors in support of you today. And on top of it, I do mean that just because I always say this, I want people in my life who I care about to win championships for your happiness. It's great. But also I win my NCAA tournament pool tonight if Purdue wins. So,
there it is.
So boiler up, MFers.
Hey, Greg, I was out at a bar watching the game on Saturday, and everybody was rooting for NC State. Nobody wants you guys to win.
Well, hey, I understand. They were the Cinderella, but today, Purdue versus the big bad UConn, we're the underdogs, so I like that. I like our odds. Let's get it.
And I was wrong. Edey fouled out of one game. It was December 8th, his freshman year against Miami. He had 5 fouls in 14 minutes. But other than that, he hasn't. Yeah.
Braggs, real quick. I know we don't usually do this, but you have a big post-game show tonight. Where can we find that post-game show?
Yeah, Boilers in the Stands is the name of the show. It's on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You search Boilers in the Stands, or, of course, Braggs in the Stands, which is the network on YouTube. We'll be there going live as soon as the press conference is, and hopefully as soon as the celebration is over. So it may take us a little bit to get going because we're going to cover the post-game stuff before we go live. But, we'll be there. So just search Boilers in the Stands on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, and you can come find us there. And I might be crying like a baby here tonight. We'll see.
Tune in.
Thank you for all the details.
I'm definitely tuning in to see you cry one way or the other. I hope they're happy tears, but
I scheduled poorly, and I've got a tennis match tonight in the middle of the game. So I'll
what if you're the worst?
I'll have to figure out who won afterwards. Whoopsie.
Bye, Greg. Have a great day.
Good luck, Greg.
I'll see you. Yep. And then it's Caleb Williams time when I get back, baby. Let's go.
That's great. We've missed your mind being on the Bears, so that'll be good one way or the other.
That was the nicest thing we've ever done on the show.
It really was.
Honestly.
I feel so warm and fuzzy right now.
I just like the noise of the fountains in the background.
Oh, I know. I can hear it. It sounds soothing.
Westgate is a great place. The White Sox spring training facility is right down the road from there, Camelback. And so, like, when you go down there for White Sox spring training, that's where you hang out. I've had many beers at the Yard House there. It's a great spot.
Yard House, good spot.
Hoge's been everywhere, too.
Spot.
Hoge's been everywhere, man. Hoge's been to Arizona, man. What's your next trip? Hoge's going to London, man.
Right now, maybe Canton.
Oh, yeah.
Canton. Yeah, there we go.
I'm getting inducted. Yeah. No, I'm not. It's Devin Hester.
And shout out to Charlie Ruby. Just he doesn't know what he's talking about. Tennis game at 9 p.m. That's way too late to be playing tennis. It's never too late to be playing tennis, Ruby. Big match tonight with Aguayo, my nemesis.
Our video got posted, you guys.
Oh, wow.
London.
Yeah, you can see our awesome London announcement video on Twitter. Wait till the show's over at CHGO_Bears.
Can we watch it here, too?
What?
Can we watch it right here, too? Can't put that on
Great
screen.
acting jobs by all of us.
Probably could.
I could probably get that.
Let's give Steven,
not immediately, but yeah.
Yeah, it's on the CHGO Bears account.
I'll grab
Super
it.
chats
It
out
was.
of the way?
Should we get to Super Chats now or do our shout-outs?
Let's do the shout-outs while I get that ready.
Gotcha. All right. We are trying to, we're going to see how this goes. We're going to call it shout-outs today, okay? Try to maybe reel Carman a little bit specifically as we, try to have fun at the end of the show.
Sure.
Without Carm's brain going in 100 different directions.
Make it was a Carm fault thing. I'm the only one that's been long-winded at the end of the show here.
No.
Nah.
I'm bad at it, too.
It was me.
I'm bad at it, too. So we're going to do what we're calling shout-outs here. And I'm giving my shout-out. So this could be about anything. So all you people that complain, to talk more football. This is the part of the show where we might not talk football, and you're going to enjoy it.
Well, we just did 20 minutes on Purdue basketball.
That's a good point. That's you know what? The guy is in the national championship.
Yeah, that was very nice
I
of us.
figured if there's one time we can let him just. We all know where his head's been the last 2 weeks anyway.
No, it's
not been on the Bears. It's been on Purdue.
It's fine.
He's living his life. And I was once a 19-year-old sophomore at Wisconsin and basically missed an entire month of school because my White Sox were on a playoff run and won the World Series. And I am glad that I took every moment to
embrace it.
Soak it in. You have to. And all right, regardless, shout out to my shout out is going to Caitlin Clark because even though Iowa came up short, it's been a lot of fun just following. We talked about going to the Brewer game. You guys know I'm a lifelong Brewer fan. Yep. Since Friday. And we had planned to go to a game over the weekend. And it was like, do we go Friday or do we go Saturday? And my brother-in-law decided to bring his dad and my nephew down. They live in St. Paul. They drove down. They're like, well, we're going Saturday. And I was like, well, the Final Four is Saturday night. Unlike Carman, who just scheduled his tennis match in the middle of the national championship game tonight.
Whoops.
But I was like, you know what? If I had to choose between Friday or Saturday or Sunday, because also the Sunday Brewer game was during the national championship game last night, or yesterday in the middle of the day. I don't know why that's a day game, but whatever. Long story short, I was like, I'd rather miss the men's Final Four than the women's Final Four on Friday night. And that is a testament not only to Caitlin, because there's a lot. I mean, you watched South Carolina yesterday. That team was unbelievable.
Stacked.
Oh, my God, were they so good. So it was just a lot of fun, but specifically to what Caitlin did for the game, she's been just so fun to watch. It's not just the shooting. Her passing's honestly too good because a lot of her teammates
they can't handle
it half the time because she's just like Caleb Williams out there just throwing darts.
Did you see the handshake between her and Dawn Staley to make something out of nothing that I'm about to do right now? Did you notice that? It looked like Caitlin paused, and she was expecting like a big embrace from a coach, like really appreciating what a great player. And Dawn Staley was like, good game, and just like kept going, like wanted nothing to do with the Caitlin Clark noise.
But then like she had the thing afterwards, congratulating her and saying what she did for the game and things like that. So
also, Dawn Staley was in tears beside
That
herself.
was so
they
adorable.
won.
That was so adorable.
Okay.
Dawn Staley dissed Caitlin Clark. That's the headline. Get it out there.
You're an idiot. That's my headline.
Staley hates Clark.
What's your shout out? You put it in the rundown at 8 o'clock this morning if you need a reminder.
I did? Oh, I did. That's right. I did. Okay. Well, my shout out is to a guy that if no one's going to miss him, I'm going to miss him.
I did?
I didn't know this was a thing, shout outs, until about an hour before the show, so I didn't put it in.
But you had already done it.
But I had already done it. And so my shout out is to the great Luke Getsy, who not only was elite as the Bears offensive coordinator and got blamed for things that weren't his fault, but Getsy was apparently a great real estate investor because Getsy was able to turn around and sell his Waukegan home for $1.6 million, 5,610 square feet of house in Southwest Waukegan. I didn't know they built houses that big in Waukegan or anywhere really.
He's basically at Libertyville, for being honest.
Well, whatever. Yeah. It says Waukegan. I understand.
No, I know. The address is
Nobody has ever bought a house in Waukegan for $1.6 million and been able.
Someone just did
and been able to get $1.6 million for it. Getsy saw the future. He was the future. 5 bathrooms, 4 fireplaces. The dude had 4 fireplaces. Luke Getsy was sitting by 4
fireplaces.
He was sitting by 4 fireplaces, figuring out what to do with the Bears offense. That's amazing. It had new hardwood. It had new hardwood floors. It had new light fixtures. He had renovated the mud room. I don't even know what a mud room is. Do you know what a mud room is?
Yeah, it's got like
where you walk in and you leave the mud.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you.
I will say this: growing up in the city, I did not know what a mudroom is. We now have a mudroom, so now I know what one is because now I live in the suburbs.
It's
just like your little entryway from the garage that like connects to the rest of the house. You get you can hang your coats in there. It's not a closet. It's like.
Why do you need to renovate a room like that? What Getsy's elite. He's got to renovate his
Getsy.
You know
he's
what?
Getsy.
First thing she did at our house was renovate the mudroom. She did it herself.
Where to put the dirty stuff?
It's just so you don't get the stuff in the actual house. Like, it's like a separate room.
When you have kids and you live in the burbs, it's just something you...
Okay.
If you want to argue with me whether or not you need it or not, fine. But you just have it.
I need to get to a point in my life where I want
Something tells me that mudroom that Luke Getsy had was a little bit nicer than mine.
My goal in life is to get to the point where I need to renovate a mudroom officially. That's my...
That's a good goal. That's a good goal.
That's my new goal.
It means you made it.
He had custom built-ins and a kitchen with a Sub-Zero and Thermador appliances. This dude was living the greatest life of all time. He had a $1.6 million home in Waukegan, close to the Bears facility in Lake Forest. He's an NFL coach. He's chilling out. He's got fireplaces. He's got a renovated mudroom. And the Bears just said, stick it. You're out of here. Go to Las Vegas. And you got to sell your mudroom. But Getsy came back big and got his money back. So shout out to Getsy.
Well, I don't know how I can top that with my shout out, but I'm going to give it's kind of a double shout out. I want to first give a shout out to my grandmother who just turned 90 yesterday. Had a huge party for her. She was dancing with all of her grandsons and things like that. So it's great to see that. So Mama Rosita, thank you for everything. And then also the Iowa Hawkeyes, like you mentioned it, Adam, but not just Caitlin Clark, even though that was basically the whole team, but Gabby Marshall, Sydney Falter, Kate Martin, Hannah Stolke. A great run, but South Carolina's, they're pretty good. So it was fun to watch it. And again, change the game of basketball. And as soon as like that game ended, I'm like, when is Indiana going to come and face the Chicago Sky? Because I'm going to buy tickets to that and watch Caitlin Clark do her thing here in Chicago. So
let's go. I'm thinking about buying up about 1,000 tickets at that thing, trying to make a couple dollars.
I shouldn't make the same mistake I made with the Northwestern game this year.
Let's go.
Remember that?
I think it's early in the season, too.
Carm. Wait it out. Nah,
I should have. That was a terrible job.
Worst ticket advice you've ever given me.
You know, there was a guy.
Second worst was opening day.
There's a guy. There's a guy that I know. His name is Warren Buffett, or Tite. You know,
Tite.
They asked him for his biggest losses in life, biggest stock losses. He's like, it wasn't anything that I bought. I mean, I had plenty of losses, but it was stuff that I didn't buy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Buffett, buy it up, take risk, live informed. Risk. Thank you very much.
Northwestern tickets for $25 when they're available, and then they sold for $400.
Yeah, they might have gone down to 20. Wait it out, or they could go to 200. I don't know. $5 risk on the downside.
You told me. You told me to wait.
I did. Terrible job. And that's
we reached your limit, huh? 111. The noise came out of you.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best I've done.
That was so you're making progress. We're doing good.
And I thought I was going to have a meltdown
All right,
in the middle of the long.
We filmed a funny. I don't want to call it funny. We filmed an announcement.
It was funny.
I don't want to. We'll let them decide if it's funny or not. I don't know.
No, it's funny. You're gonna laugh.
I haven't seen the finished product, even though I was there. But here's our official announcement for CHGO going to London. Yeah, I don't know. They said to meet him on the roof.
It's really weird.
What are you guys doing?
Here. What are you guys doing?
Me, you, him, and the Bears are going to London! We're going to London! We're going to London! We're going to London! Let's go! We're going to London!
Beat the crap out of
That was a nice catch. Oh my God, it's still going.
Geez.
Oh, I didn't see any of that stuff.
I have actually all the raw footage on my phone here.
I can't believe he caught it.
That's what I'm saying. That was Greg Braggs' greatest athletic achievement right there.
Defending himself from the
I
football,
threw a rifle at him. I mean, it was in his hands, so it was a great throw. But he caught it.
I mean, he had a belly that it wasn't caught with his hands, clearly, but
absorbed the football. And look at this. You guys just yeah.
And he got the
good spike. Good spike.
I thought that was going to go off the roof, so right after that, I start running, but it was all good.
Yeah. Some in the comments are saying we need the outtakes. I believe that is planned. So something to look forward to. I think there's more coming from that.
Can we get the ending dance one more time for Pokemon Prophet and me, because that really was good work by me right there. I thought that my flow was superb. Sorry, audio listeners, but you got to check it. I mean, look at that guy. Did you see the shimmy shake right there, Hoge?
The umbrella.
Look at that. Look at the ass.
What are you doing with your ass?
It's a good ass right there.
Kyle Long would be looking for that in his scouting report.
If you are listening to the podcast right now, check out the video. It's at CHGO_Bears. Fun
and
show
while you're
today.
there, please follow us. We were so close to our goal of 40,000 Twitter followers by draft day.
Oh, we are. Wow. Yeah, we're at 39-something, aren't we?
39.5 as of yesterday?
Yes. So, and that was like a goal we made internally a couple months ago, whatever it was. So if you're not following us already at CHGO_Bears, you should be. Got a lot of fun content up there as always. We will also, the announcements up there, I think the link to the trip, if you're looking for it, truefantravel.com, but the direct link is right there for you to consume and click on. And again, we're just taking deposits on the trip. Refundable. So come join us. It's gonna be a great week. I honestly, I've been looking forward to this for a while, and I can't wait.
Edward Elric is in competition with Pizzitola. He might even passed Pizzitola for Carm hate.
Well, Pizzitola called the ceasefire too.
Yeah, Elric could be the new one. E².
Have someone every day.
We got to get to supers here before we get out of here too.
Yeah, we got to do diehards too. We got a good crew. Good crew.
Yep.
Matt W 199. Woo damn pig suey. Watch out, Brags for the Hogs. Yeah, last time Arkansas went all in poaching a coach from another school went great. Brett Bielema. Okay. Stuart Engelman. I don't know why I'm hating on Arkansas. I have nothing against Arkansas at all.
It's annoying. It's just annoying.
John Calipari.
It's annoying.
Do you think Kentucky will hire Billy Donovan? Find out on the CHGO Bulls podcast later today.
Wow, great tease.
I have no idea if they're talking about that, but they should.
They're definitely not talking about that.
Now they have a talking point.
Stuart Engelman, 199. Kyle, huge fan. Love the tenacity you brought. Bear down. We will make sure Kyle sees that. We'll make sure Kyle sees all these super chats here since they came in during the show. Isaac Siegel, $5. Hey, Kyle, would you coach O-line if asked by Chicago? All love to my favorite Bear.
That's a great question.
You know what?
I don't think he would, but it's a good question.
It'd be fun. Fun coach.
Matthew Gregory, who's currently with Brags, says help. Please help.
Oh, no.
A little worried about that.
Matthew Gregory? What's going on over there, man?
He's definitely made a mess, hasn't cleaned up, and it's been a nightmare for Gregory. That's my bet. He'll never be allowed back in.
I mean,
it makes sense.
Let's talk about the real MVP of the weekend. Guy who lets Greg come into his house.
I need behind
there.
Gregory, you got to tell us stories, and if there aren't any bad ones, make them up. It'll be good. It'll be good for the show.
Yeah. I don't think he's gonna have to make them up. Seth Crane, $10. Come on, guys. You don't remember the famous Tariq Instagram Live and a certain Bears lineman in the background?
Yes, I do remember that.
Oh, that's what he was talking about. I did not remember that off the top of my head.
Yeah. Do you know what they're talking about?
No. Oh, he was naked.
He was naked. You saw everything.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. I wish I remember that line.
Whoops.
Dude.
These things happen.
There were so many, like, Kyle Long
comments.
Words.
Kind of an understanding that you're not supposed to have your phones or videos going in.
It's a locker. I mean, yeah, it's a locker room. Like, people are changing.
Like, I'm not just talking about locker room in the NFL, but just like
locker
any
rooms
locker
in general. Yeah.
Well, who put that video out?
Tariq Cohen.
Oh, Tariq did.
He went Instagram Live, so everyone.
He went Instagram Live.
Okay, I got it. Thank you. That was the dumbest thing I've said on the show, and that's saying something.
Was that post game?
Post game.
Okay, players do that. Celebration videos. Yeah, that would be the one exception to the. There's cameras all over those, but I believe the cameras are supposed to go away when people are actually changing. Whatever, we're talking about that too much. Yeah. It was a thing that happened though. Jason McKenna, $5. If Kyle, hi Kyle, if you could only pinpoint one body part or muscle, which took the biggest beating on the O-line? Fingers.
Sorry we didn't get to that with him, Jason.
Yeah.
We'll try to get an answer. Ho, you can ask him. You guys are tight. Let's go.
Okay, Jack Silverstein between
the best.
Komet's FU Brags and Kyle Long's Carm, respectfully, up yours.
Flip.
We're going to have some useful memes this season.
True story.
We do have to pull that. That was fantastic.
Jack's the best. Thank you for the piece you did out of me. Everybody should read it. Have you read it yet, Ho? You didn't take the time, did you?
I skimmed it.
Yeah, the old skim.
I read, it was a good article. I read it.
Thank you, Steven.
And I like the pictures in there, too, that you brought in.
There you go. Right. Some good pics.
Yeah, I showed it to my dad, and he said that you two look very similar.
Jack's the best. Hey, Jack, my friends have loved it. The ones that really care about me and have read it, unlike some of the people here that have
I have
skimmed
it bookmarked. I will read it, I promise.
Been out for a week. No time.
You know, I had to read Bruce Feldman's write-up on Peter Schrager last night before I went to bed.
That took forever.
Did you read it?
I didn't.
75%.
Okay, real thing from that, not to get derailed, but I thought I was a combine expert. That cafe that they mentioned in there for breakfast, never been there, feel like a moron.
Oh, I got to read it. But
Every bit of that piece, if you're in the media, you feel like an idiot because Peter Schrager's doing a better job than you. That guy's good at his gig.
Well, we're going to know what to do next time. Or next.
Yeah, but
combine.
most of what he was doing in there, I mean, granted, the list of dinners and stuff and the people he's meeting with,
He's dunking
upper
on
echelon.
Dunking on all of us.
But I'm just saying what the process of what he's doing and where he's going, like, yeah, okay, like this is what you do at the combine is great. Now he's doing it. I'm agreeing. He's doing it a way better job.
Did you look at...
I'm saying I didn't know about that breakfast cafe, and that made me feel like a moron.
What made me feel like a moron is that he looked at staffs, looked for the young coaches and figured out who would go out with him. That was smart move. That was...
And one of those guys ended
turns
up being
into Sean McVay.
Yeah.
That's how these things happen. Who can I build a relationship with? That was smart. I liked it. Good for him.
I like that.
It was a great piece. Check it out. Also a great piece. Jack Silverstein and Mark Carman.
That's right.
Didn't quite have the same effect, though.
Who could I talk to? Me. I begged him. Please do a piece on me.
It was a good story, though, that I skimmed. And
You
I promise I will read.
You can't.
I swear to God, I looked at it.
You can't speak on it. You need to read it and learn.
Okay. It wasn't a good story because I haven't read it yet.
Thank you.
CJ Abbas, $1.99. Thoughts on the Worthy visit? I believe Adam Schefter tweeted out a little while ago that Xavier Worthy is visiting the Bears today. My thought is that it's one of 30 visits.
And then Malik Neighbors has his top 30 visit with the Bears on Wednesday as well.
Yes.
I did a deep dive on Jared Verse. We're going to talk about it on tomorrow's show. Looking forward to that.
Kyle, 1999. Everyone is saying Williams is locked at first overall to the Bears, but what are the chances all this is smoke screen, similar to Trubisky and secret dinners they had with Trubisky?
0.
Nope.
Kyle,
Nada.
It's
Zilch.
it's the when we said there was a 99.9% chance that they're trading Justin Fields, and people were still convinced they weren't. This is the same thing.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
D-Tech Nation. See, I am going 99.9. Carm said 0% chance.
I mean, sure, if the worst something
point
terrible happens the next 2 weeks.
There's a solar eclipse today. What if it goes terribly wrong?
Didn't it already happen?
No, it's...
Didn't it already happen?
It started at 120. The apex was at 157.
I have the whole thing. Totality. I have the whole thing planned out to the minute.
Never seen a brighter sky in the history of the world than right now. I'm sure that in 30 minutes it's going to be dark. I don't buy it.
really bright sky right now.
Sorry you don't understand how science works. And also, the reason why I have this all planned out, my day is planned around the solar eclipse, is because I am going to use this as the opportunity to drive home very fast on the Kennedy.
It's a minorly decent idea. Before the show, I thought it was great, but now it's just like no one's stopping anything except to watch the video of me and Braggs dancing, which is fantastic.
Keep looking at videos that no one else can see. I'll continue doing the super chats.
I'm with you.
D-Tech Nation, $5. So when Purdue loses, do you have a plan for sad Braggs? Will the brown bag return?
Good idea. Yeah, well, you
Ooh,
can't brown bag a
bag.
guy in the championship game, though. That's
Yeah.
You got to give them their love. But maybe we can. What are you laughing at?
You turn that into a verb.
Brown bag.
You can't.
Brown bag. Can't brown bag a guy.
It just doesn't sound right. I'm an idiot. Derek Lindgren says London announcement is exciting. Wore Bears gear there a few years back. Met a few fans who already live there. Just subbed recently. Die Hard next.
Let's go, Derek.
There it is.
I got to get out of here. Please let it.
Oh, we have new diehards, though. That was
thank the diehards.
elite.
Speaking of
So
the diehards,
optimistic.
hey, we're up to top 50 on the CHGO Bears 100. 50 prospects there. We're working our way up to 100 in the next couple weeks. Working really hard on it. It's only available to diehards. It's our entire behind-the-scenes database. As we get information, that's where we put it in there so you can learn up on these guys before the draft, and it's very helpful draft weekend because as guys get picked, you follow it. We're going to have everything in order. It'll update automatically. Well, not automatically. I'll have to update it as the draft goes along. But it'll be done for you, and it's all there. One of the many perks you get by being a CHGO diehard, like...
Well,
wasn't ready for it.
Like is not a lead-in to who became a diehard, if that's what you're doing.
It was exactly what that was.
Become a diehard like.
Oh, like. Right. That's good. Oh, really good. Really good. I mean, if I could speak, I could lean into it.
You want me to do it?
No, I don't, because I'm gonna battle, just like these guys are battlers too. They battled their way to be diehards. I'm gonna battle like Nicholas battled, the great Nicholas, who hits at the top of the order, the bottom of the order, covers games. Thank you, and also just knows football like nobody else. Nicholas
Madrigal.
Could be a Madrigal.
Could be Madrigal. Moreano.
5'6" slap hitting third baseman. All right. Can't find anybody better. All right. Then there's Ed, my guy Ed, not Mr. Ed. Don't say that. That's really lame. This guy, the Ed that I knew, he was like 63 years old playing pickup hoop, and he could just bang it down from anywhere. Guy had a great jump shot. Ed, so do you. Welcome to Die Hard Land. Michael, another championship. I think we're on like championship number all. We've got a ton of Michaels, but this Michael on this day is the best Michael. Thank you, Michael. My man, and I like to call you M because it was the people that were friends with MJ that called him M, like Scott Perrell. That was the coolest. M, you're in. Michael, you're the man. And then Chris.
Chris.
We are led by one of the great Chris's ever, Chris Panko, taking us to sales levels that I've never seen before. What is going on over there? Why are you laughing when I shout out my guy Panko, who also can hit at the top of the order or the bottom of the order, plays a great third base. This Chris right here, though,
I think you were going to go Panko.
I love Panko.
Okay.
He's a great dude. Every time I walk in the office, he instantly puts a smile on my face. That's what Chris does for you. Puts a smile on your face. Chris, you put a smile on our face when you became a diehard. And now I can go have a coughing fit in the bathroom and see you tomorrow at noon. I thought today was going to be the day. I played 3.5 hours of tennis yesterday, didn't cough once.
You were good. Morning meeting was solid.
I'm better.
Yeah,
I'm better.
Definitely better.
But I'm still
working on it.
It's the longest cough extravaganza in the history of cough extravaganza. It's been a rough one.
I had a 6-weeker after I had COVID the first time. That was not fun.
This
Sounds
thing.
terrible. 6-weeker.
All right. Fun show. Kyle Long was great. Greatly appreciate his time today, and appreciate everybody who loved the interview. We will get him on again in the future. And, of course, London. We got so many things. The draft party sold out Thursday. Tickets available Friday. Go get them right now. ALLCITY.com/events. It's going to be a lot of fun. Dalton,
Carman, the Sheriffs.
Carman,
Let's
the
go.
Sheriffs.
If you YouTube Dalton and the Sheriffs, some great tunes, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. For real.
And then the London trip, truefantravel.com. We also got Gary Fensick Friday night. Another reason to come on Friday. Gary Fensick will be there, meet and greet, Collector's Cave. Shout out to them. Greatly appreciate it. And the draft party, sponsored by Circa and Casa Azul. We are going to be back tomorrow at noon. More draft conversation. Tuesday's my day to work hard on that database, so we'll have a lot more on draft prospects tomorrow. Nick is off for a few days. He's going to very sunny Florida.
Let's go.
For a few days. So enjoy your time off.
Yep.
We are not sure if Braggs will ever come back from Arizona. Might depend on tonight's results. So please pray for him and the Boilers.
Carm working on a big-time guest for later in the week. See what I can do. I'll let you know later.
I don't believe you.
I got a response back from one of my people.
Ooh, responses.
I'm teased.
So we'll see.
Let's go. Yep. All right. Hope everyone has a great day. Enjoy the solar eclipse. I'll see you out there on the Kennedy, and we'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.